Welcome to Topic A, everyone. I'm your host, Gary Perna. This week on Topic A, political analyst David Yonki is joining me to talk about the state budget stalemate and what he thinks is going on in Harrisburg. We're going to talk about some local issues in Hazleton and Wilkes-Barre, and of course, the question he is dying for me to ask him: what about the presidential election? All that and much more coming up on Topic A, only on WYLN.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
The Beer Garage, 202 East Diamond Avenue in Hazleton. More than just beer. Coffee, all sizes, only $1. Get your lottery tickets here, too. Stop in today, The Beer Garage in Hazleton.
For over 25 years, Whitetail Preserve Shooting Range, 118 Boulevard Road, Bloomsburg, has provided professionally designed skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields. All stations are handicapped accessible with resident NRA certified shooting instructors on site. There are packages available to fit anyone's budget. Restaurant and catering on site. Our facility is also available for weddings, business meetings, bachelor and private parties. Call 570-384-2314.
Pennsylvania Pipeline Music TV features performances and interviews with the best musicians from all over, showcasing their original music and sharing their stories. Watch Pennsylvania Pipeline Music TV Thursdays at 8, Sundays at 9 on WYLN TV 35.
And welcome back to Topic A, everyone. I'm Gary Perna. I'm very pleased to be joined by the editor of the LULAC Political Letter, David Yonki. And Dave, you've been a longtime friend of WYLN and of Topic A especially, and thank you for coming down and to speak with me.
Happy to be back. Happy to be back. Brings back many old memories, you know.
Well, I'm not as loud as LA Tyrone, but you know, we'll do our best here. But we like to pick on him from time to time. But
good guy. Good guy.
I wanted to bring you down to talk about. We're very close to the primaries here in Pennsylvania, but really this is quite an interesting 2016. No matter which way you're talking about the presidential election, you're talking about local politics, state politics, and I want to start with the state and the budget. We don't have a budget for the 2015 fiscal year. It's not promising for 2016 fiscal year either. More attempts have been made. No one's happy with anything. You know, at what point do you think the governor and the legislative have to sit down and put the politics aside and say we need to do what's best for Pennsylvania?
Well, I wish I could tell you what's going on with the state budget, but apparently nobody seems to know. And I think that the best solution would be for some type of hybrid budget to happen. First off, I think you have to get the last budget passed. Mm-hmm. Now, whether Tom Wolf is going to be able to budge on that, we don't know. The big thing is I've been struck by the fact that a lot of the local state representatives, Democratic state representatives, have been going on Facebook and talking about the education plan, that the funding needs to be restored, you know, back to pre-Corbett levels. Mm-hmm. Well, the problem with that is that you're fighting a battle that's almost like, 2 years old from the last election campaign. I think that Governor Tom Wolf is going to have to at least make some kind of move, and I think he's going to have to do it through the state Senate. Mm-hmm. He has a very good representative in State Senator John Udicek, who has had tenure in the House and in the Senate. He worked with a lot of those guys when he was in the House of Representatives. And I really think that he should be the go-to guy to kind of broker some type of budget deal, because you have to get the 2015 one before you need to get the 2016 one done. And the most fundamental thing we ask of government, the most fundamental thing we ask of a family, is to have a budget. Right now we have this big family in Pennsylvania that's flying by the seat of their pants. And you might have a government, if this doesn't work in 2016, you're going to have probably a governor and a legislature that's going to be like a line item provider of money to different services. And they're talking about schools being closed now, and they had a big meeting down in Wilkes-Barre the other day, so it has to be fixed, but God knows if I know the answer. But what I would urge people to do is talk to your state representative and see what they're doing and get a specific answer as to see what's happening with that, because that's the only way it's going to be fixed.
You know, the weird thing is you know, if you and I didn't have a budget in place, you know, at home or even, you know, even at work, you know, we would shut down. The amazing thing what state government is, it doesn't shut down. You know, they keep going. Now, mind you, some things don't get paid and some things are cut, like we've seen in education and, you know, some other places. But, you know, senators, representatives, the governor's office, you know, the state workers are still being paid, you know, to an extent. But, you know, at some point, someone has to be the, you know, the adult in the room and say, listen, this isn't working anymore.
Yeah, and the only two people that really aren't getting a salary, from what I understand, Aaron Coffer is not taking a salary during that last budget impasse, and Wolf is donating a salary to charity. So, you know, you have to really get people to, I think that if the legislature is going to be worth anything, they should try to pass, and it's not going to happen, but they should try to pass legislation that if a budget is not done, we don't get paid.
Right, and you know, that'd be great to happen. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see anytime soon the House and the Senate and the governor holding hands around the Capitol singing Kumbaya. It's something you know, even if they were all Republicans or all Democrats, when it comes to something like this, even though he doesn't have control in the House and the Senate, I mean, a lot of Republican lawmakers are digging their feet in and said, you know, we're not raising taxes. We're not going to put more money on, you know, anybody. And then, you know, the governor's saying, but it's not a balanced budget. So, you know, at one point, who's wrong and who's right? You know, sitting out here in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, we don't know what goes on, you know, the dealings.
Well, right, and you know, you have to raise the taxes, you know, in order to provide government services. But again, the only way you're going to have to govern, if you don't have the votes in the House and the Senate, you have to compromise. That's what Ed Rendell did, and so far we're not seeing it.
All right, well, I want to switch from state government to local government, and I got to ask you about Wilkes-Barre Mayor Tony George. He seems to be a love him or hate him kind of guy in Wilkes-Barre, and he's a unique mayor, I have to say, in just the, you know, the way he handles things, you know, his comments sometimes, kind of, you know, you have to sit back and go, this is not Tom Layton we're dealing with.
Well, actually, Tony George is going to make Tom Layton seem like a very open and gregarious person to the media. And I think he's finding his way. He was a councilman for 4 years and, you know, chief of police. So I think that what's happening with Mayor George is that he's testing the waters, and this is what you get sometimes when you get somebody who basically has had experience on a ground level, but executive level experience is something that I think he's going to have to find his way to. And the thing is, with the tax proposal that he put toward council, I was amazed that the Wilkes-Barre City Council, with 3 rookies on that council, actually had the chops to vote that budget, the tax increase down. And what happens is when you're proposing a tax increase as a new mayor and blaming the other mayor for the inadequacies in the new budget, I think that there should have been more of a meeting of the minds. And for him to say, well, I'm not going to come to the city council meeting, that was a clear signal to the council people that, hey, they could do what they want. And that's what they did. So I think it's going to be interesting in the next year to see how he does. As a resident of the city of Wilkes-Barre, I certainly wish him the best and see what happens.
All right, it's going to be an interesting year in Wilkes-Barre, but before we go any further, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back here on Topic A. Stay with us.
Combined Insurance makes it easy to protect you and your loved ones by paying cash directly to you when you need it most. Whether you're looking for accident and sickness, disability, or life coverage, Combined Insurance has a policy to meet your needs and fit your budget. Call John Ravello, 570-499-0504 for an appointment to help determine the best coverage for you. That's John Ravello, 570-499-0504.
If you're not in danger and you see a crime, text 274-637, 274-637, 274-637. Send your tip, take them off the street. Text 274-637. Send your tip, take them off the street. No one will know your identity.
Now, helping to solve or prevent the crime is just a text away. Text my tips to the word crimes and let the law help you.
Join us this week on Let's Talk Chiropractic. You're going to meet Pete, a wonderful young man who had an unfortunate car accident, who sought chiropractic care and a team of doctors to help him along this road of recovery. It's coming up this week on Let's Talk Chiropractic. Join us.
Hey kids, I'm home.
Dad, it's cold in here.
Oh, it's not cold in here, it's warm in here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna turn this down because I gotta save money for tax preparation.
Honest Abe's, your tax partner, giving free advice year-round. 310 South Church Street in Hazleton. Call them at 570-861-8297. Don't stress, pay less.
S.J. Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric, Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call S.J. Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
WYLN has strong ties to the community and it's committed to important causes like the American Cancer Society and Helping Hands Society telethons. WYLN's commitment to Pennsylvania continues with the broadcast of Hazleton's Fun Fest Parade and the Christmas and St. Patrick's Day parades in Wilkes-Barre. In the summer, we broadcast the Weatherly and Giants Despair Hill climb. And throughout the year, we provide important community services through the broadcast of town meetings, school board meetings, election night coverage, and other community events. WYLN, we're your local network.
Welcome back to Topic A, everyone, and I'm joined by Dave Yonki as we're talking about kind of a little bit of everything as we get into the political season here in 2016. And we just talked about Wilkes-Barre's mayor, Tony George, and I want to talk to you now about the love-hate, hate-love, love-love relationship Hazleton is feeling. Hazleton Council and Hazleton Mayor feel towards each other. You know, during the break I told you that this is probably the first time in recent history that I can see or remember that we have 5 Democrats on council, the Republican mayor. You know, and this is quite a unique situation. On election night, I sat at the panel desk and said, this is going to be an interesting year for Hazleton. Mm-hmm. We're now in uncharted water with this. The thing that surprises me, and then I'll ask this question to you, you know, through the election process, everyone was friends. There were a couple negative things here or there, you know, but they worked together in council. Now that one of the council members is now the mayor and there's some new council, it seems like we're hitting brick walls. Some things are getting through, but there's a lot more brick walls than there were before. You know, how do you take it, seeing it and keeping an eye on Hazleton into this new political climate?
Well, first off, you have the 5 Democrats on the council, which you never had before, and you have a former council member. Now, you have to ask the question, you know, would Jack Mundy, had he been elected, would this be in the same type of situation? Would he be in the same type of situation? But I think that what the mayor needed to do, in my opinion, was to actually work quickly. And I think with these appointments, him taking the stand that, these are my appointments, and the council taking the stand that they needed to be confirmed and waiting for an opinion from the solicitor, he should have done it quickly, because not from any type of moral standpoint, not from any standpoint of who's right and who's wrong, but looking at the numbers. Okay, I'm a Republican mayor. I have 5 Democrats against me. I have one guy who ran against me. I have another person who was appointed in the primary, who was appointed on council, who ran in the primary, Grace Cuso, who wanted to run against me.
Right.
So, you just have to look at the numbers. So I think that was a tactical, mathematical error that he should have not committed, because right now you're waiting for an opinion from the solicitor, and as you said, there are some things happening, but it's not a really clean start to an administration that I feel, at least from the campaign that he ran, showed so much promise.
And you're right, and I think a lot of people, and when we sat here on election night in November of 2015, and at 9 o'clock we were calling Jeff Cassett the winner.
Yeah.
I really thought it was going to be 11 o'clock at night until we knew, or at least had a picture of what we could see. However, though, I think the HEP and the morale is kind of still there, but it's not what it was when he first took office. And I think, Jeff and his administration are being plagued by this, by not having these names on council. I think, and you're right, if he would have done it at the first council meeting, would there have been so much questioning and arguing and back and forth? Maybe not, but we may never know that.
I think people have a tendency to give a new mayor a chance right from the get-go. And I think it kind of mirrors the Tony George situation, where he didn't talk to the council regarding his situation in Wilkes-Barre. And I think the same thing is happening here. But I'm sure that he'll get through it. But at this point, I guess you guys are waiting for the solicitor to make a decision.
We'll have to wait and
Put
see.
it in the hands of the lawyers. That's never a good thing. With all due respect to lawyers out there.
And we're gonna jump right over that now. No more questions on that. We're gonna go to the presidential race. This has been something that I don't think anybody would have ventured to happen. That we see Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and John Kasich right now still remain in the race. Marco Rubio have dropped out, and then we have Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Now, my first question with this is, I'm going to start on the Democrat side. Where, to me, Bernie Sanders is what Barack Obama was 8 years ago, when he kind of came out of left field. He wasn't even on a radar, I think, leading into this. And when we had Hillary Clinton 8 years ago, she seemed to be the front runner. Again, you have Hillary Clinton. Now, I'm not saying the outcome is going to be what it is, like it was 8 years ago, but he was kind of a guy that, he's been in the Senate, he's been in politics his whole life, but to me, he didn't seem like a person who was going to be jumping up to be the next president.
Well, the similarity and difference between Obama and Sanders is Obama had the backing of a very, very powerful Senate Democrats the last time he ran, so that kind of helped him out, but he didn't have a lot of experience. Sanders has the experience, but he really has not had any substantial legislative efforts to really call his own. He's been like a rabble-rouser for most of his life. It's astounding to me that a 74-year-old person who says he's a socialist, that's okay, and I mean, I go back to the days of the Cold War when, socialism and communism was a dirty word, and now you have a guy like waving the flag saying, I'm a democratic socialist. And I think that a lot of Democrats said, well, Hillary Clinton will be a better candidate because Bernie Sanders is knocking her around and, talking about different things, in terms of, income equality and things like that. That's okay, but anytime you have a primary in a presidential race, it weakens the candidate. And so I think Clinton is on her way to be the nominee. I think that the pressure is going to be on the Democratic Party leadership to, tell Bernie to kind of back off, but I think he wants a spot at the convention.
Do you think it's going to be a Hillary-Bernie ticket?
No, not at all.
No,
not at all.
Not even considered in anything.
No. I mean, I don't think he'll be a vice presidential thing. The H factor, right there. She's going to have to pick somebody who is either Hispanic or somebody that's going to, carry a big swing state for her.
We got 2 minutes before I have to take a break. The Republicans. I know I'm giving you 2 minutes to get everything out with this, but Donald Trump. What do you think? What he's doing with the Republican Party and the loudness of Trump?
First off, Donald Trump has won a lot of primaries, but he has to win the most important primary of his political life. And you know what that is? That's the personal primary. Because right now, he's been all about the noise. He's been all about like unrealistic expectations that his supporters basically believe, and I don't think he necessarily believes it. I think his supporters believe that he could build a wall, but I think realistically he knows he doesn't. And I think that what he has to do right now is to conduct a personal primary among leadership in the Republican Party to make sure that they could trust him, so that he's not going to be some guy, that's shooting off and not be a good candidate. Because if he gets to 1,100 votes for the convention, they're going to have to give it to him. His comment this week that if he doesn't get the nomination, people are going to start rioting, that is not going to help him. He has to conduct a personal primary to sell to the leadership and all the other Republicans that are against him that he needs that he will be a good nominee.
You definitely think a contested convention
for
Republicans?
I really think so, because right now Cruz is like right behind him, and the good thing that happened with Trump is that Kasich, by winning Ohio, makes it a three-way race. I think the best thing for the Republican Party to do is try to convince Cruz and Kasich to just kind of form a team and blunt the Trump challenge. That way there'd be enough votes that Trump wouldn't say they could have been stolen from him.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back on Topic A. Stay with us.
Visit the Luzerne County Convention and Visitors Bureau website at tourinapa.com for the listings of the many events you will find in Luzerne County. From wine festivals, hill climbs, tomato and kielbasa festivals, you will find it all in Luzerne County. Luzerne County was named the best outdoors destination in Pennsylvania by the official Best in PA website. The Luzerne County Convention and Visitors Bureau will help you relax, relive history, and marvel at the area's stunning natural beauty. Luzerne County, you'll find it right here in Northeast PA.
Hello, I'm Tiffany Cloud, host of The Storm on WYLN TV 35. Election season's coming. We are the Hazleton-based television station with truly substantive political talk. Often The Storm is a candidate's first stop when running for political office. And if candidates want to win, they come on The Storm and advertise in WYLN TV 35 programming, which airs across northeastern Pennsylvania, the most expansive viewing area by far of any Hazleton-based TV station. WYLN TV 35. We are your stop for the best political talk.
If you haven't found the perfect fishing getaway, you haven't been to Captain's Cove. Located on Henderson Harbor in upstate New York, Captain's Cove offers a variety of accommodations to please just about anyone. The motel, also located on the harbor, offers a magnificent view. Enjoy free morning coffee, air-conditioned rooms, cable TV, and HBO. The cottage can accommodate up to 8 people with 3 bedrooms, a complete kitchen, washer-dryer, 2 full baths, air conditioning, and outside grill and picnic table. Call us today for rates and information at 1-800-824-FISH.
Get the entire story when it's convenient for you. And get it from WYLN News. 2 daily newscasts from your #1 source for local news. WYLN's Evening Edition, news at 5:30. And WYLN's Late Edition, news at 10. More than just headlines. It's the whole story. In-depth reporting on hot topics and more. Plus the area's most accurate weather report from the WYLN Weather Center. More news, weather, and sports twice a day. Only on WYLN, we're your local network.
Welcome back to Topic A, and in the last part of the show here, Dave, I want to go back to the convention with the Republican Party. We're going to see, you've said, and I think, and I agree with you 100%, a contested convention, which, some political analysts that I've been watching on TV said, this is uncharted water. We're going into a Republican convention with 3 very strong candidates still. Usually you start in October, November, you have 12. Usually by January, February, you're down to 2. The last one says, listen, you're stronger, and it kind of bows out. all three of them aren't giving up. They're full steam ahead.
Right. Well, you have a couple of scenarios going on here. First off, Kasich is going to stay in the race because it's in his best interest to be that hopeful choice at the convention, but he doesn't have a path to go. Cruz has the delegates, so what's going to happen is in the next couple of weeks in Pennsylvania is going to be a very important primary state, because what's going to happen is Trump is going to go on with his campaign, and it's going to be very strong, but Cruz, I think, is going to go toward the west. And I think he's going to try to, pick up delegates there in the western part of the state, because Trump so far hasn't played very well in the Midwest and the West. He won by a hair in Missouri, but he doesn't play that well yet, and I think that Cruz could actually pick up votes. So that's going to bring Cruz some votes. And then Kasich, I think the Bush money people and the people that were behind Rubio, they're going to start pouring money into the Kasich campaign, not necessarily because they think he's going to win, but because they want to stop Trump from getting to that 1,200. And I think that if you keep Trump under 900 or 1,000 votes, then there's a logical way for the Republican Party to say, look, we're playing by the rules. You're not at the threshold. But the thing that people have to remember is that the Republican Party is not a democratic institution. The Republican Party can make up their own rules. So that if they decide that they want to change the rules, they could do it. And I think the people who are voting for Trump and voting for the other candidates think they're voting for them for president. They are only voting for delegates to the convention to have them vote for that person. Joe Blow going in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and in these other states are not voting for Donald Trump. They're voting for the delegates.
Right. And you know what? And I think that some people don't understand the back part or the backstory or the reason for the primary with the delegates, because you're right. You're going in there and you're voting for delegates, number one, on top of voting for the presidential person who you think would be the best person. But when it comes down to it, it's those people you send to the convention
that are committed,
that make the commitment to whichever. So if Pennsylvania has, or just say 10 delegates, and the 10 of them are going for Trump, but you voted for Kasich, it's what they want. Where you get to say is in November.
Right. And the delegates are binding until after the first ballot. After the first ballot, then all heck is going to break loose. And 1976 was the last contested convention with Reagan and Ford. And this one is going to be a little bit different because they're a little less civil toward each other than Reagan and Ford were.
Well, yeah, and I think you look at Ford and Reagan, and they were very outstanding people, no matter which way it came down to it. And you look back in time, and they were very much more modest than what you have today. And it kind of brings up the point: if social media was around in 1976, what would it be like?
Right.
But now let's take that same scenario in 2016. If we did not have Facebook and Twitter and everything else under the sun, would this election be like it is today?
I think it would be probably different, mainly because, no, I think it would be it would be different in the sense that you wouldn't have the social media, but in 76 you had the power brokers. Here there are no power brokers. The power brokers are money. They're the Koch brothers. Let me just say something real quick. There's a movie that was made in 1964 called The Best Man. Henry Fonda, Cliff Robertson. If anybody could go to your local library, just kind of rent it or get it rented from Netflix or whatever, it could tell you how a brokered convention worked. And that was a Gore Vidal novel called The Best Man. And if you really want to see how a convention works, rent that movie.
So I got just about a minute left. Who do you think we will see on both tickets in November?
I think that it will be Clinton, for barring any type of unforeseen circumstances. And believe it or not, I'm still going with Romney. I still have a gut feeling. I said back in December it's going to be Romney. I just have a gut feeling it's going to be Romney.
Out of the blue at the convention, this Romney's going to be put in.
They could put anybody's name. After that first ballot, all bets are off, and they could put any person in. It could be Ryan, it could be Romney, it could be even one of the candidates who ran, Scott Walker, Jeb Bush, whoever.
Whoever.
Yeah, anybody but us.
You won't see Dave Yonkai's name on that.
Because we have other commitments.
All right. Well, Dave, it's always a pleasure having you
Thank
down
you.
here. I will invite you back again because I love our discussions, especially when it comes to the presidential election. Dave, thank you.
Happy to be here again. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Remember, this is Topic A, where the community comes to talk, and make sure you join us throughout the next couple shows. We've got some good ones lined up for you, so make sure you stay with us here on WYLN. Have a great night, everyone.